There was a great story about some ships that set sail on the final leg of a voyage. This was in April of 1519. And the final leg of the voyage was to take them from Cuba to the shores of the Yucatan Peninsula, where they were going to take the world's richest treasure. This was a treasure of gold and silver and artifacts and jewels. And the world knew about this treasure. This was no secret, because people had tried to take this treasure for centuries. In fact, the same army had held this treasure for 600 years. And conqueror after conqueror had tried to take this treasure. Everybody knew it was there, but nobody could seem to do it. Incidentally, conquering was kind of a thing back then. I mean, I know that we're kind of politically correct now, and we don't believe in going and stealing other people's land and taking their treasure. But this is what they did then. I mean, you could major in it in college. You could do English or science or conquering. I mean, this was a job description, okay? And so this guy, his name was Hernando Cortez. This whole story started back in Spain years before. And this guy, Hernando Cortez, knew about the treasure just like everybody else did. Now, he was already a wealthy man. This was already a very wealthy man in Spain. But more because of the challenge than anything else, he wanted to gather a group of people to go over there and take the treasure. Now, he knew that if he was going to do it, he was going to have to gather a group of people whose level of commitment was beyond that which ordinary people considered commitment during that day. And so he would talk to them. He knew the first step to getting them going, getting them excited, was to lay a vision in front of them. And man, he did. He laid this awesome vision in front of them of what their lives were going to be like if they took the treasure, and what their families would live like, and how generations would benefit from them taking the treasure. And he got everybody pretty fired up. And this whole voyage took, get this, 11 ships, 100 sailors, 500 soldiers, and 16 horses. Now, I don't know who told the horses about the deal, but everybody was fired up when they left, okay? Now, halfway across the ocean, Cortez knew that he had a problem, because everybody's fired up to leave. But halfway across the ocean, he knew that some of these people were turning into, whiners. Some of them were like, Mr. Cortez, this isn't what we thought it was going to be, or this, we've prayed about it and we don't think God wants us on this ship at this time, which was amazing to him, because these were the same people who came to him and said that they had prayed about it and that this was an answer to prayer, and God, in Cortez's mind, he couldn't figure it out because God didn't change his mind to Cortez. But anyway, he knew that he had to take these people and raise their level of commitment beyond that which ordinary people consider commitment. So when they landed on the shores of the Yucatan Peninsula, they didn't just march in and take the treasure like people had tried to do in the past. 600 years, remember, the same army had held this treasure. So he stopped them on the beach, and they talked about it again. And he cast that vision for them again about what their lives were going to be like, and what their children would, and how they would. It was unbelievable. He stopped them, and they stayed there for a couple of weeks. They had seminars at night and probably listened to tapes and cassettes. It was unbelievable. And they would sing songs, and it was incredible. And finally the day came for them to march in, and Cortez knew one more time that before they went in and fought, he had to raise their level of commitment beyond that. So he gathered them around, and he stood up, and they quieted, and as they thought they were going to get the speech like, hey, when we get in there, if the arrows start flying, you meet me here at the coconut stump and we're out of here. But what he said, 3 words that changed everything. He leaned over them, and as they quieted down, he said, burn the boats. And they said, excuse me? And he said, burn the boats. Burn our boats. And he torched them. Burned all 11 boats. He told them, if we're going home in their boats. Well, an amazing thing happened. They really fought well. they fought. They took the treasure. First time it had been done. In 600 years, first time the treasure had changed hands, they took it. And of course they took it. Why? Because they had no choice. Take it or die. And I'm sure, don't think they didn't consider that. We can take it or we can die. I guess we'll take it. This was a pretty easy decision, but they took the treasure.